pain this week as Charlotte suffers their first home loss of the season. Is this a sign of things to come or just a blip on the radar? This and more on Charlotte for the week. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday, your favorite day of the week, our favorite day of the week, because we get to come to you again live, well, not live, recorded, but somewhat live on Charlotte FC for the week. Going to jump right in. It was a hot and heavy week. It was a very aggressive week on the field, and so I'm coming in a little hot today. I don't know about Gabby if she's quite the same as me, but hey, we're on fire after this game, and not in the way that we want to be, unfortunately. So Charlotte FC unfortunately took their first loss at home, losing to New England 1-0. Very frustrating game overall, I guess is what I would say. I went back and watched it again just to make sure what I saw on the field live wasn't, skewed in any sort of way. And I felt the same way afterwards, right? I mean, it was, in my opinion, a game that the refs really did botch. You hate to blame refs. It's kind of in poor taste, people may think. But listen, I just felt like at this particular game, they allowed New England to play as aggressively as they wanted without any sort of repercussions, right? They only called 3 yellow cards on them total out of about 20 fouls. And so they were just constantly putting, Zaha on his back. And, two of the guys really should have deserved 2 yellows to make it a red, in my opinion. Charlotte was clearly the better side. If you go back and look at the stats, right? I mean, we had twice as many expected goals scored. We had 17 shots to their 6, dominated the possession. I'll admit, toward the second half started, New England did find themselves. They started to gain confidence and they were really growing into the game. And then obviously they scored a late goal, 77th minute. It was a very fluke goal. Should it have counted? Should it have not? It certainly seemed like the player was offsides. I do have a screenshot. I understand maybe why they kept the goal or said it was good, because when you get the camera angle that was on the screen, it looked like he was right down the line. But in my opinion, when we were in the stadium, it was clear as day that he seemed offsides to us. And so, like I said, it was a very tough pill to swallow. I guess really I should take some of the blame. Obviously, last week we came in with the hot take. I came in with the hot take of Charlotte's not going to lose a game all year at home, and then they lose the next freaking one.
Yeah,
but
it was all your fault for sure.
Yeah. So I guess maybe blame me. Westwood, Dean Smith, both were very upset after the game. Matter of fact, I think they both got fined after the game for the comments they made about the refs. I don't love that. At the end of the day, get playing.
Were they false?
Say what?
Were they false accusations?
They weren't false statements. Exactly, right? I mean, it's hard to blame them. I don't love it. I don't love blaming the refs. I don't love coming on here and blaming the refs, right? It just feels like a pity party, woe is me. But again, I watched the game live. I watched the game in replay, and both times the refs sucked. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say anything else about it. And to me, that was the difference in the game. They just allowed specifically Zaha to get fouled over and over and over and over again with no recourse. And so when they were allowed to do that, that just made them that much more aggressive. And so, yeah, they ended up growing into the game. They got a pretty lucky goal at the end. Like I said, it just kind of tricked Kalina because he thought it was a cross. The guy didn't head it, and then it just goes in the corner. My assessment, that's soccer at the end of the day. And I guess that's why it is so hard to win all of those games in a row, because again, you just watch this game from afar, you would have thought Charlotte was, and they were, the better team on the field, twice as good in my opinion as New England, but they never found the back of the net. That is something that obviously has been a challenge for us at times this season is scoring, and it stepped up or popped up in this one. Weren't able to get the goal. New England was able to kind of grow into the game and get the lucky goal. And again, all of that was predicated around just poor officiating that allowed the game to get that frustrated. Gabby, do you have anything to add on that, or what are your thoughts?
I'm calling it the bank heist of the season for sure.
Oh, so, okay.
No, it was definitely really disappointing to watch. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're still such a young team, and I think and when I mean young, I mean young in years. like existed.
Yeah, only the second year under Dean Smith,
Yeah.
so still growing in that. First time we've really been like having expectations as well as a team, right? So young in the sense of, oh, we're a good team, how to handle it,
Yeah,
right?
no, I would say that. Yeah, like this is probably the second year that we've really, really excelled as a team, and so I do think these losses are going to get a lot harder. But I mean, in addition to the refs just being really hard to deal with throughout the game, I would also say we just didn't finish properly. We just weren't finishing our attacks the way we could have. But again, I believe that's Charlotte's probably biggest struggle, and it's been their biggest struggle for a while. So that's just kind of my
agree
on how the game.
Yeah,
went.
no. Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, like I said, we know that scoring goals does, present a problem from time to time for Charlotte. And yeah, had they gotten one or two early like they probably should have, then this probably isn't a conversation. It's a much happier start to the show. But again, that is soccer at the end of the day. We have to accept that. We have to understand that is part of the sport. It is freaking hard to score goals. And when you don't, the other team gains confidence. And that was a picture-perfect example of it on Saturday night. And obviously, really not at a good time neither. I'll kind of get into more of that in the preview. We now go on a long road streak, right? So it would have been nice to get that extra 3 points at home. Hey, didn't happen. Got to pick yourselves up and move on to the next one. That's all we can do. That's all the team can do. So that's what we expect. Any specific players that stood out to you, or maybe stood down to you on the team for Charlotte this week?
I mean, I feel like in terms of stock down, I don't know. Personally, as much as I love Pep, I feel like he's kind of just didn't play that well.
It wasn't his best game. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Pep, but when he's not scoring or assisting, it's kind of like his bar set so high, right, that when he doesn't quite do that or fulfill it, it's got to be him on the stock. And I agree. He did come up a little lame with a little hamstring, from what I understand. I think it's nothing serious. But yeah, it wasn't his best game overall, right? And I mean, we're all going to have him like that. Well, not me, I'm not an athlete like him, but yeah, we all have bad days at the office. Maybe this was somewhat of a bad day for Pep at the office. Anybody that stood out to you on the other side?
I mean, who stood out to you?
Yeah, well, from my show at the end of the day, right? Okay, well, then we'll say for sure Westwood, like I said, when I rewatched it, he's always great. Actually, Westwood is the captain for a reason, but he was so good in this game. He really was. I mean, just putting out fires left and right. We got a lot of attacking options early, and he was the reason why that first 10 to 15 minutes were so good. He had a bunch of good, passes to Zaha and Abada on the other side. And yeah, I think he was the best player on the pitch personally for both teams.
I think he led very well. He led his team very well.
Exactly. Yeah, he did his part. And in my opinion, this is going to be controversial because I saw a lot of people throwing their opinions out afterwards. I thought Zaha was great. Sue me for it. I don't care. I think he was great. I'm wearing his jersey again today in support Zaha.
I think he played really well in the first 20 minutes.
I thought he was great, and then, like I said, they just they had to resort to fouling them because they knew they couldn't stop him, and that frustrated him, and that led to, again, something we may talk about later on in the show. But I thought he played great. I think he plays that way all season long. The rest of the season, he's going to find the back of the net. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. I think that's the way that we want Zaha to play every single game. Others may disagree. That's fine. Leave it in the comments. We can discuss. But I really thought that he had a great game. So him and Westwood were certainly our two best, in my opinion, in that game. Whereas Pep, again, he wasn't bad by any stretch, but certainly not his standard that we've seen this season so far. So, like I said, we'll just.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think Zaha played beautifully in the beginning. I do. And you're on where you're sitting in the stadium. You're on you're on the starting side.
Yeah, exactly. I got to see him coming toward us, and
too.
I mean, like I said, it was 2-3 defenders that he's going through, weaving through, and like I said, I thought he was brilliant, but maybe that's just me.
Oh yeah.
So, but that kind of puts a bow on the recap. Again, it's a loss. It stings, but it happens. It's sports, right? So we're on to next week, on to match week 10. That's a wrap for the recap.
Don't forget, guys, make sure you grab your Leagues Cup tickets. The first game is July 31st, and apparently we're playing my people. So I don't know who to root for, but don't forget to grab them. Mark, did you hear about Zaha's Snapchat post?
I did. I saw it. When I said more on this later, I kind of thought that may come up in the news for the week. Obviously he posted that, I think, right after the game or very shortly thereafter the game. I'm assuming we have a kind of screenshot of it there. I'll take your thoughts on it first, and then I'll jump in. What did you think, Gabby?
I don't know. I thought it was kind of a bold statement. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
Just because we haven't seen him publicly say things like that. I agree with his sentiment. I see where he's coming from. I feel like he's had a lot of pressure on him this season. Does that mean that I'm still not a little disappointed in how he's played so far? I don't know. I still think he could be better. Definitely not shaming him. I understand he is an older individual, older professional player, so I get it. Again, I'm not a professional athlete. Just speaking on what I see. But no, yeah. I hope he's okay. I'll say that much. Definitely did not expect him to post like that, though.
Yeah.
Typically you don't see too much of that.
Yeah.
Especially in MLS.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't, but that is what you sign up for. He is an electric player, and I mean that in every sense of the word. He's electric when he's on the field and right. He's also electric. He's always been kind of this off the field as well. He's going to speak his mind, right, wrong, and different on that. That's just who he is. I didn't really have much of a problem with it personally. It could have been worded a little bit nicer, sure, but I mean it was probably, right after the game. I know he was frustrated from the loss just as much as anything else. I think that's what it was. Like I said, I mean, everybody was frustrated from the loss. We knew, again, Dean Smith got fined. Ashley Westwood got fined. He posted this. All of this happened within 15 minutes after the game. So it was a very intense game. And I think at the end of the day, the intensity got maybe the best of all three of those individuals. I'm not, it's one incident on all of them, so I'm not going to it's water under a bridge, really, in my opinion. And honestly, I like that he cares that much. You know what I mean? Like, it gets to him that he's not doing what he thinks he can, what we think he can, as far as production. And I think that's where the frustration stems from at the end of the day. So, in my opinion, this is only going to lead to a more fiery, hopefully in a positive way on the field, Zaha, right? Not necessarily explosive off the field and making more and more comments. I'm really hoping and thinking that's what it's going to be. But yeah, this is just what you get when you get players like Zaha. He wants to win. He wants to do great. When he's not and when the team's not, he's going to express it. And like I said, sometimes that may come off a little bit brash. But hey, like I said, I like my players being passionate about what they do. I mean, so I don't have necessarily a problem with it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that brash or that hostile mentality. Yeah. I just wish that he brought that fire to the field, and really and truly, and this is not a hot take. I feel like this is seen by most of the viewers, is that he really didn't bring that fire and that confidence really until this week. Again, I know he played super well in the first game of the season, the first home game, but I think that he really didn't bring that fire back.
That's fair.
Until this week.
That's what he's been hearing, clearly. I mean, so you're not alone in saying that. That's what a lot of people have been saying. I would say, I think it is a fine line to say, like, because he's not scoring, that means he's not on fire or playing with fire, right? And I'm not saying that he isn't or is, right? Yeah. I mean, but those two things don't have to go hand in hand all the time. You can be playing with fire and not scoring. 100%. I mean, that's, because obviously, look at Kalina. He's not going to score, right? But he's always super fiery. But and obviously that's a completely different example. But yeah, like I said,
I agree.
It's a fine line. Like I said, I think it all boils down to a very intense game, and that intensity just boiled over into press conferences, into Snapchat. Yeah. You don't want to see that a lot. Again, it's an isolated incident one time for all of these guys. So. Again, we don't want to repeat this over and over and over as the team when we lose games. Just get over it, move on, and on to the next one. But hey, it's okay to be fiery as well. So, kind of just keeping on the topic of the news. This actually happened late last week, by the way, but it was just a little bit after we had already recorded. But definitely wanted to go ahead and bring it up. So Ben Bender, we of course talked last week about the signing of. You give me his name, Gabby? I'm going to mess it up. Jaquil Marshall Ruddy. Apologies always, Jaquil. I apologize. I'm getting used to it. But anyway, so when he got signed, we didn't have enough roster space to keep all of our players, essentially, so did have to end up waiving one. That one player ended up being Ben Bender, who got waived. So he was waived last Friday. Obviously wasn't playing any this season. He was a first overall draft pick for Charlotte, so had been here since the very beginning. So kind of hate to see that. He was somewhat of a fan favorite for some people. Some said otherwise. I know kind of mixed results on him, but at the end of the day, he wasn't playing, and there wasn't a clear path to him playing. It wasn't like the next person that got injured meant he was going to come onto the field, right? So, and he's still trying to be a professional soccer player at the end of the day. So I think Charlotte did right by him by going ahead and letting him become a free agent to sign elsewhere. But yeah, bye-bye, Ben Bender. Best of luck. Wish you well in the future.
It is very disappointing and sad to see Ben Bender leave, but not as sad.
We agree.
To hear how you were on the phone the other night, Mark, when I called you after the game. The super sore loser talk coming from Mark.
If they would have given me a press conference, I would have probably been worse than Dean Smith, to be honest. I was pretty down bad.
You were probably the biggest loser at the game. That's the hot take. I don't know, Mark. I was just...
I can't even defend myself. It was a very. I felt like I had gone to a funeral, kind of, to a certain degree. It was that kind of just sad and somber. Yeah, you had invited me to come hang out afterwards, or with everybody, and I was just like, nope, just going home.
Like,
I don't want to be anywhere else. So
I'm over this. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go to bed. And I was like, what? Whoa. He's acting like he's the one getting paid.
To you people. I can't help it.
Mark's taking it like he just missed these goals, and he just let these, he's the one that didn't defend, the freaking goals from New England. So I was very surprised.
I will noted. I'll work on that. Hey, win, lose, or draw. Yeah, I need to be able to keep a little bit more positivity. I definitely was a little sad after the game, so I can admit as much. Hey, it is what it is.
You said that you're the one who caused you guys to lose, and then when you were on the phone, you were practically boo-hooing about it. I mean, again, you said it was your fault.
A little bit of a hypocrite. You are correct. I didn't know you were going to go there with the hot take, but that is a very true statement. Hey, sports do things to us. We get upset. We get happy as well. I mean, if you saw the video that I posted last week when we won 3-0, I was through the roof, through the moon, whatever I can go through, and then this week kind of the opposite. So work on keeping it on a level, even playing field moving forward. I'll try to keep that equilibrium right here moving forward.
You were just as best as Zaha was. So, the only difference is you don't have a newborn baby.
Luckily I don't have Snapchat, so I wasn't. I might have been like, I don't know who I'd have been. Can we say killing on the field? I don't think I can say that. But yeah, we'll cut that if we can. But anyway, I agree. I was a little bit of a curmudgeon after the game. Hey, we lose. I'm not going to be happy. I just wanted to go home and crawl in the fetal position and go to sleep and not worry about it. And that's what we did. So didn't have a choice. I don't have anything this week. The hot take for me was that I thought Zaha was great, I guess. I'll just go back to that one because everybody else was kind of, throwing on to him. I was on the Zaha bus throughout and will remain there. So I'll say maybe that's the hot take for the week for me. I don't have too much else to add.
I mean...
Yeah. Well, we're going to see him score this week. That'll be the hot take. Zaha scoring this week, and I hope he points at all of you that are blaming me. I don't know how he'll do that from Columbus, but he'll be like, see there, see what I did.
Week in your book.
That'll be the hot
That's
take.
Your prediction every week. So
I think I've picked him 99% of the time, and he's scored about 10. But it's my guy. All right, Gabby, and for the around the week, can we go ahead and get the scores up there? See what kind of maybe sticks out real quick. Oh, wow. Well, the 7 goals from Nashville is sticking out like a sore thumb to me. I mean, scoring a touchdown in the MLS, that just doesn't happen very often. So, yeah, that's definitely the game that has to stick out here. Did read a note that was the most goals scored in a game since 2022. Philadelphia actually won 7-0 against DC United that week, so tough week for DC that week. But yeah, 7-2 goal game for Nashville. We just played them a couple weeks ago and obviously won 2-1. Don't know what got into them this week, but hey, 7 goals.
That's ridiculous.
Got to give them a round of applause for that. That's a heck of a week. So, way to go, Nashville.
I mean, let's not forget, look at Miami. I mean, what's going on with Miami? This is
right.
Third loss in a row.
Three straight now. Yeah, so Dallas, what about that game, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I thought they were the rebrand Barcelona, but it's not looking rebranded anymore.
Yeah, 3 straight losses. Obviously, I mean, they were up 3-1 in this game as well. I watched that one. I typically do watch that game since it's always, like I said, Miami always has the Sunday afternoon games for whatever reason. So that one's always on for me at my house. And yeah, they were up 3-1, looking good, and then all of a sudden Dallas, stormed back and won the game. So 3 straight losses for Miami.
Too. Decent team, but I don't know. I expected a little bit more out of them, but I mean.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, it's still early. I'm sure they'll somewhat get it turned around, but I doubt they lost 3 straight at all at any point last season. So that is certainly something to keep track of. So for sure.
Yeah.
What about the? So where does that leave us in the standings? Easy for me to ask. Yeah.
I mean, with the standings, things aren't looking too hot for Charlotte right now. I mean, after last week's loss, we were dropped down to 4th from 1st. It was short-lived.
Long drop too, 1st to 4th. Yikes! But I mean, early season, you're going to have that kind of jump in. So it is what it is.
Sure.
Okay, what else?
Definitely sad to see our guys there. Right below us, Miami though.
I was gonna say we're still top 4, right? I mean, it's not still top 4, which is really really good. So want to get first if we can, but I'm okay with 4th isn't terrible. What else?
I mean, let's look at what's going on with Atlanta. I mean,
another loss. 3-0 loss for them. Yeah. So yeah, they would be getting relegated or very close if they were in like the Premier League right now. So yeah, they're dangerously bad right now. And then we see old CF Montreal down there, still no dubs. Poor guys. Do you think they'll get a win before June? You think they'll get a win they'll get one in May, right? They got it. Surely they get.
Do they have Miami on their schedule for the rest of the year? Is that coming up?
Maybe a good call. yeah. We want Miami is what everybody's screaming out all of a sudden. I don't know.
I mean, Montreal might want Miami now.
Yeah, poor guys. I didn't think they were that bad when we played them. I mean, we were the better team. But yeah, to have 0 wins, tough. What about the Western Conference? What we got over there, Gabby?
I mean, leading the way is Vancouver.
Of course, yeah, they're flying.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're clearly just dominating everything. And then
5 points clear at the top, I see.
Yeah. San Diego, too. They're starting to slide. I mean, I don't know. Super concerning because, we just
came out of the gates hot. Yeah, came out hot. Maybe teams are figuring out the expansion side or maybe they just are young and not used to. Maybe we exposed them. I don't know. But yeah, I've seen they're down, 7th or so right now, I see. And then those poor Galaxy. Oof, same thing there. No dubs on that side neither after winning the Cup last year. That's just astounding to me. I don't think that would happen in any other sport, to be honest. So crazy. I will predict, maybe this is it's definitely not a hot take. We'll call it a lukewarm take at best. But yeah, I will say that by the end of May, surely my Galaxy and Montreal both have at least one victory. That's hopefully. I'm almost hoping for them. I couldn't imagine going 2.5 months, three months without winning a single game. It's just.
I mean, that's got to be rough on the mental for sure.
I know I couldn't handle it, so I couldn't handle one. I was crying after one loss. What?
And you weren't even playing the game.
Yeah, tough. Well. All right, and now right into the final segment, your favorite segment, the one that started it all, the Charlotte FC Match Week Preview. Into Match Week 10 this week, so can't quite do it with my mic in my hand, but yeah, Match Week 10. This is going to be the start of a very difficult stretch for Charlotte. So about to go on the road for 3 straight road games. Documented plenty of times on these, how we great at home and then struggle to get points on the road. And this isn't just any normal MLS road game. We're playing Columbus this week. It's Columbus Crew, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. No two ways about it. Columbus is a great team, right? This is going to take everything from Charlotte to get a result out of this game. Columbus, over the last probably 5 to 6 years, is really probably the best team in the Eastern Conference, if not the entire league. They did win the championship 2 years ago. They were very high up there. I think they were either Eastern Conference finalists last year, as well. They ended up losing. So, yeah, they're in it every single season. They are tough to beat every single season. It's been since they got really widely considered the best coach, or at least one of the best coaches in the MLS. His name is Wilfried Nancy, not to be confused with Wilfried Zaha. That's our guy. There's his Wilfried Nancy. Again, great coach, player-oriented. All the players love playing for him, but very, kind of smart mind, brilliant, kind of tactically, always seems to be, a step ahead of the game. So this is going to take Charlotte's absolute best effort to get a victory, or at least get a result out of this game. It's not impossible. We actually did last year. So last year when we played Columbus, we played them to a draw of 1-1. I think we would be super happy with that result again this year if it did come up. So again, it's not like we're climbing Mount Everest over here. We've done it before. We can do it again. But it's going to take maybe the best performance of Charlotte's entire season to get it done, in my opinion. What Columbus does well is really everything, to be honest. They're good at defense, really, really good moving the ball forward. What they like to do, not too dissimilar from some of the other teams I had mentioned, specifically San Diego, but just maybe a little bit or way more organized than maybe San Diego was. They're going to want the ball as much as possible, right? They are a possession-based team. They like to really kind of feed off of that and keep the ball really the entire game if they can help it. Obviously, Charlotte likes to keep it, but a little bit indifferent there. So I really see this game being dominated possessionally by Columbus. When they don't have the ball, they being Columbus, they are going to press the heck out of you, right? They are going to be on top of you. I mean, all the forwards are going to be up trying to get that ball back. They want it back as quickly as possible so that they can control the game through the possession. What they do when they have the ball, which again is most of the time, is they will clog that midfield, right? They'll drop some of their forwards back, their strikers, their wingers. They'll drop back, one or two of them may. Their defenders will move forward. Their fullbacks on the outside are going to move forward. Maybe even a central defender is going to step up into a defensive midfield role. And really, they try to clog that midfield, and then they're going to make very random runs from there. They're very hard to pick up on the runs because it can come from a right winger going to the left. It can come from a left back just staying on the channel. Random midfielder decides to take some diagonal run. It's coming from all over the place, right? So you don't really know how to prepare. You just have to kind of react, right? Is the best way you're going to be able to play. So a very structured defense is what you need to be. Communication has to be very, on top of it. It always is with Charlotte. That's something that we are very strong at doing, is, keeping our lines structured and communicating to those lines. So I think we'll handle it as well as anybody can handle it, but it doesn't mean that it's not difficult. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be difficult to do for 90 minutes. Very, very, like I said, difficult game overall. So prediction for it, first one of the season, I'm not going to predict a victory. I will predict another draw. So we obviously, like I said, we tied them last year at their place 1-1. That's the same scoreline I'm going to go with this year. It feels right. It just feels like, this game's begging for something like that. Charlotte, we know, is going to stay structurally sound. They're going to do everything they can to keep them out of the net, but I don't know that they'll be able to do it the entire game. But on the other side, we know we can break. We know we have that counterattack, and frankly, we're coming in pissed off, right? I mean, we just talked for 20 minutes about how, upset all the players and coaches were after the game last week. They're going to find that motivation, and they're going to put it on the field, in my opinion. And the player that's going to do that more so than any of them, again, the player that I'm wearing today, I'll turn around just so you can see it again. That man named Zaha right there, right? He's going to be the goal scorer. He's going to be the catalyst. He's going to be the one to bring us to that draw, in my opinion. I think we're going to see great things out of him in this game because he is definitely going to be motivated to show everybody what he is about this week, in my opinion. So that really puts a bow on it all. I appreciate you guys all watching. Hopefully you've already liked and subscribed. If you haven't, please go ahead and do so now. We do appreciate it. And yeah, like I said, good luck to Charlotte on the road this week, and hope you all get to watch it. That's For the Crown. Fall in love with me, one kiss is all it takes. Falling in love with me.